Well, guys, I'm excited about today's review, but welcome to the channel. I'm Greg.
Josh.
He's Josh. And yeah, this is the only channel that uses a brass bell to remind you to
Like, subscribe, ding the bell, comment down below.
Okay. Thank you for muting that. Man, what a review. Josh, I've got to tell you. So he and I, he wants to know every single thing that I do, and I don't want to tell him anything that I do.
Well, not every single thing.
Well, you know what I'm talking
he'll-
about in relation to the clip point.
Yeah, he'll buy a knife, and I'll be like, well, what'd you get? He's like, well, why can't you
Why
be
can't it
patient?
be a surprise? Why can't you just enjoy it later? And then I'm also 5 seconds after opening the box, it's on Instagram. So when he finds out. So it's pointless what I do. But anyway, I'm a child when it comes to this process. So we got a Hinderer finally.
Yeah, and it comes in the
famous American-made white box.
The white box, yeah.
So it does come with some cool stuff in here. Look at that sticker.
Oh man, that's
Dude,
cool.
don't you love that? That brassy style. What is that?
It's almost like a OD.
Almost.
It's like a mixture between like a.
It looks like those. It's like a dark. It's like a almost like a tumbled brass color, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, it is
subtle.
Interesting. It was hand assembled by
that guy.
That guy. Thank you, that guy. You did a good job of him carrying it. And of course, they famously come with different washers that give you a different feel of opening and closing.
Yeah.
And they have a YouTube video on Hinderer Knives on how to take advantage of their washer change out, whatever.
I'll link that. System. Why not? I'll link it above. So I have yet to open this. I own a ZT Hinderer design. Same steel. It's now that you've opened it, and I have not opened it yet, and I don't want to open it as of yet. How do you feel about the action of a Hinderer knife? Because they're famous for that.
This is probably the best grill knife out of pocket I've ever held.
Really?
Blows my mind. I have never had something so perfect.
Really?
Yes.
So that explains where the love of Hinderer knives comes from for so many people.
I've always kind of wondered. Look, from an aesthetic, I mean, all of the hardware is
it's
epic.
Handsome. Yeah.
It's you're getting. You got a piece of machinery in your hand.
I was just seeing that little logo there. That's a nice little touch there.
Yeah, their tri-pivot system.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. They put an insert into the titanium lock bar. I mean, it's built for a lifetime because you can replace any part of it.
Yeah, and they sell that, which is what I appreciate.
And, it has over travel. The detent is perfect. I still haven't figured out the thumb stud yet. There it goes.
You probably got to put some flick into it.
Yeah, you have to. Well, it's not that. You get the angle wrong and it won't fire. It's just like.
That's not how I would open it, though.
Me either. I would just use the flipper.
Right.
Right. So yeah, let's dive in.
Where'd you get this? Red Hill Cutlery?
Yes, Red Hill. Yeah, Red Hill put a little thing up, and they said, "Hey, we've got these." And I said, Psh, "Done."
Yeah. So Hinderers are notoriously hard to find because people seek them out because apparently the actions are amazing. Clearly,
and the finish is amazing. That blue, tumbled titanium is fire. It came with a pocket clip replacement.
Yeah. So
there's no gap. It did come tipped down, so I did have to unscrew it. No big deal. And it's Phillips head.
But it's nice that you can change it.
It's how it should be.
Yeah, you should have the option.
Yeah, sure. So that was cool. Obviously, I got the Jade 10.
Of course.
Yep, of course. You know me. And I could take some pictures of a couple of different brands of my Jade 10. Standoff pillar construction, just how you'd want it to be. I mean, there is nothing that I don't like about this knife. It has a really cool harpoony Tanto.
Yeah, I dig that. It's almost like their Sponto.
Yeah, very American. It's perfect full hand.
This is the Hinderer Eklipse 3.5 Tanto Tri-Way Battle Blue Translucent Green G10.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And you know what? The flipper is The flipper's perfect. It actually has a slight up kick,
Well, I
and
mean,
it gives you the
hey,
leverage you need to for it to fly
let's
out.
drive that into Ergos.
Yeah. So Ergos. Um, I mean, look, it has a recess for your thumb. Non-functional, jimping. But look where the finger comes in.
Non-functional jimping.
I mean, it's so smooth. I don't. I
If
guess
it
it's
was wet,
slightly functional.
if your hands were wet, would it be functional?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting.
If it doesn't grab my skin, I feel like it's not
That's
super
true.
duper functional in my mind. So it could be just my opinion. But I mean the ergos on this and holding it is probably like, I don't know, a 10. It's perfect. And the flipper tab fits perfectly. Look how it
Mm-hmm.
continues the
Yes.
angle. They thought about every aspect of this design, and I really like the fact that it is titanium on the other side. A
Yeah.
very thin slab of titanium to go under the J10. Um, Dude, it's almost perfect. So yeah, 10 for me on Ergos. I think it fits the hand amazing.
Um, you can't see it because that's just like the way J10 typically is, but it's pretty grippy.
They've milled it well.
Yeah, it's milled super well. Um, you know, love the choils there. Um, that jimping there, it's not the most functional, but there's like a little bit of a choil here.
That's right. It cuts out for your thumb to sit, and it
Right.
rests naturally.
And I love how the flipper turns into like a little guard there for your
Yes,
finger.
exactly.
Um,
And it matches the curve of the frame lock.
yeah. I mean,
Right?
this knife is a user for
Yes.
sure. Yeah, man, I have to agree with you. 10 out of
From a
10.
design standpoint,
I don't have anything that I hate.
yeah,
And honestly, where kind of my knuckles ride that almost adds to the ergos. Instead of creating a hot spot, it gives my place, like my hand, a place to land.
and it's a really low profile pocket clip.
Yeah, but see, like
It's nice and thoughtful.
it lands right here
I see what you're saying.
where it adds a little bit more confidence in the hand as opposed to being like too recessed or too high where it kind of burns into my hand a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
That takes us into tactical.
Tactical. I mean, you're probably not going to miss the flip, right?
No.
It's EDC tactical, right? So yeah, probably, an 8 out of 10 for me on tactical. It is a serious point.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a piercer, 3.5 inch.
Yeah.
According to the box.
I mean, for the cutting edge, it's a little short on that, but the overall is, it's right at 3.5. And so, it is tactical. So definitely an 8 out of 10 for me. And look, this thing came really, really sharp right out of the box. Grab some scrap paper and, don't have to do, that was me. Don't have to do anything to that edge. So it's not the.
And this is.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it when we get.
It's not mirror polish super clean, but yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. And once again, we just qualify what our score is a little bit on the tactical side. Some people might get upset. It's not, that's a 10. No, it's really an 8 because of the draw.
Yeah.
It's the speed with which you can open a knife that limits its tactical score, in our opinion.
Yeah, because I mean, if this was like a wave system, it would be a 10 out of 10. That's a severe blade. And by the way, guys, this is CPM 20 CV. I don't know if we said that earlier, but just so you know. Yeah, so I'm going to have to say, it's not wave, but if you pre-draw it, knowing a situation's coming about, I think it's a 9 out of 10 with the blade size and the kind of harpooned Tanto. I mean, you don't get a better piercer than that, really.
It is full hand too.
It is.
So there's not a compromise
having
on your hand.
The flipper come out there just adds some security there. Your hand's not going to ride up.
You know what I think they should have done that would have been a little different is, instead of having a screw through here, I think they should have put a hollow standoff the whole way for your lanyard.
Yeah.
I would have liked that.
I think that's just a Hinderer thing. I don't think they put lanyards on anything. Maybe on some, but I haven't.
I put lanyards on everything.
I haven't seen
So
one.
you have to do the standoff if
But
you're going
it
to do a
might be
lanyard.
something that's aftermarket. They might sell that. They sell a lot of aftermarket stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, that would be just what I would do on any knife at the end. I would have it be a hole instead of a standoff, or
Hmm.
make it a hollow standoff or something like
That would
that. I mean,
help on the draw.
yeah, it could be designed, because I will put a lanyard on this. The problem is it's pretty tight, and you don't want blade strikes to hit that and kind of cut your. So you have to really tighten that first
Hmm.
knot down on that lanyard. So
Well, let's take that into cool factor,
yep,
and we talk about the design of it a little bit.
yeah. So when you go into cool factor, I mean,
That's a pretty hefty stock of CPM and 20 CV there too. You don't
it
really notice
is.
it.
It's not quite fat boy, but it's not a slim knife, right?
Right. It's a working knife.
Oh, I think it's EDC next though, right? Then cool. Yeah, tactical EDC, cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right.
So from a tactical standpoint, this is, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. So from an EDC standpoint, I think this is very much an EDC knife. It's a perfect size for EDC. It's full hand. It's grippy. With the blade shape being what it is, it's a little bit less EDC.
Hmm.
So it's going to
Yeah.
be a 9 for me on EDC. But with its flickability and the fact that, look, when you go to close it, look what hits my thumb.
Hmm.
That's really important because I can't tell you how many little tiny scars I've got right here
From really getting
from
bit.
from getting bit, and it has a specific detent right there, and
That's
so
nice.
you have to defeat it on purpose. And because it's not a ball
Let me see
bearing,
that.
it doesn't just fall on you. I can't stand a knife that just falls on you. And ball bearings are garbage. Everybody needs to stop doing it. If you want to get different washers, supply your people with different washers. Stop putting ball bearings in knives. It's cheesy. My opinion.
And that's totally cool. That's the whole thing about knife life.
Mm-hmm.
Can have your own opinion.
That's right.
You know, it's an EDC knife.
It is.
I mean, it flicks open. It's a user. You can count on it.
Yep.
With the exception of the blade, if it was a drop point,
yeah,
and had a bit of a sweep, it'd be
yeah.
perfect.
If it had belly or recoil
9 out
or
of 10
something
for sure.
oriented, yeah, if I would agree with you. And this knife is so well executed. It's probably the finest Grail knife from an execution standpoint. Just look at every detail.
Yeah, no, I agree
Do you
with
see
that.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The milling is perfect. The thought process behind the function of the knife, the fact that they, give you the opportunity to change the way it opens and closes. I like the way it is from the factory. I'm just going to leave it. I don't want to disassemble it.
And that explains to me so much.
It does to
Now
me
holding
too.
one, why people love Hinderer so much.
When we held that one brand that everybody's nuts about in e-knives, and we were both like, I remember I went down there to buy that named
Yeah.
Grail knife,
Hmm.
and I decided not to because first off, you couldn't open it, and secondly, I was underwhelmed. So this is sort of in the Grail world. This is like the opposite end of a Medford. You earn your way into using, especially the older Medfords,
Hmm.
right? They're big, they're thick, they're chunky, they're
Yeah.
not easy to use, but they have their own cool factor. This is the precision side of the Grail world.
All right. So cool factor now.
Cool factor.
Actual cool factor.
Yeah, so this is a cool knife. It's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me on cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I like everything about it. I think it is pretty cool. It almost, I don't want to say it, but it gives a little bit of Benchmade to me. There's a little bit of I don't know. It is a cool knife, but I've never kind of wanted a Hinderer by looking at it,
Hmm.
right? Because look at how many Grails I've purchased, and finally I bought this.
Right.
It's really way down the list for me on cool.
I think it's because it's a user. It's not necessarily designed to be a looker. It's not a show pony.
That's right.
It's a car that's going to go, 300,000 miles.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the Benchmade. It's kind of the perfectly executed of the Grail world.
Right.
And I have a deep appreciation for this being in hand. It is so much cooler in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So much cooler in hand than it is in person. And you know what's really cool too is you can get a ton of hardware,
Yeah.
a ton, like a Benchmade. Like
Yeah.
Benchmade is kind of the
Well,
king of that.
and
There's so much out there.
there
It's not
is,
cheap,
but
but you can
even
make it what you want.
but Hinderer even sells their own, which is really cool. They
Yeah,
want you to customize your knife, which I appreciate.
yeah. I'm really stoked. This is a pleasure to have. It makes me want to carry it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Hmm.
Having owned a Hinderer designed knife, I can see where you kind of get off on the Benchmade aspect of it. Um, but
I don't
it's
mean that
not.
in an insulting way.
It's
I
not.
just mean it more.
No, it's a quality.
Form versus function. It's actually function first,
Right.
right?
It's a knife that is designed to be used. It's not.
Whereas Medford, I think, is form first
Right.
and then function.
Right.
If I were to, they're tight. I'm not saying Medford. I love Medford, but it didn't. No Medford functions like that.
No. And it attests. It's a testament to their action, their washers.
Unbelievable action. They did it right. You didn't have to set anything up. It wasn't sticky. It flew open right out of the box, and it closes in a reasonable fashion.
And your score on this was what?
For what?
Cool.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.
Yeah.
And what sells me on 9 for this is a few things. One, I love the blade shape. I love kind of how it harpoons in there, almost like a spear point Tanto.
Yep.
Another thing that I really love that you pointed out is that they added a layer of titanium that matches the back layer.
I dig it.
That's a really nice subtle thing.
Yep.
And then their little logo they put on the flipper for their washers, they've branded their system.
Yep.
And they put it on the knife, and that's really cool.
The only downside that I forgot to mention on the cool factor is I cannot stand that printed logo. I run your finger across it. Yeah, I want it. I want stuff to be engraved. Now the logo is a little complex, but like I would prefer it to be like Tor.
Yeah, no.
Tor, it's engraved.
Yeah, it's stamped in.
I would love for that to be that way.
Yeah.
Even if it costs $50 more on the knife, I'd pay $50 more for it not to be printed on there. I just don't like printed on logos.
No.
I don't like that on Gerber. I don't like it on Buck.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd stop doing that. All companies, and just invest in your brand.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how proud they are about where the knife is made. They put that on there really large.
And you don't miss it because
I appreciate that.
The frame doesn't cover it, which is nice.
And one last thing that I'll say that I really appreciate is, and you don't get this from the photo, is the finish of the blade.
Yes.
It's so much better in person.
Not a crappy standard. I mean, I don't know why I'm being so harsh. It's not just I get to the place now to where that regular stonewash that you get on 90% of knives is so awful.
Yeah, this is almost more apocalyptic.
It is. It's a lot like what Microtech has done. You can actually take pictures with that. It catches the light.
I mean, I can see it right here.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, they have a tumbled sort of finish on the titanium as well. So the titanium color shifts depending upon time of day and the angle you take. That blue will have a different color.
Yeah.
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 I dig the way they did all that.
9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
That takes us into overall. And honestly, I think that's a 9 overall.
Yeah, it's a 9 overall. There's no
that's
question.
one of the highest ranking knives we've reviewed.
One of the best functioning knives I've ever held.
It's not often we have a 9.
No.
We've never had 10, not yet. But
yeah,
and we've only had a few 9s.
And we'll do a video on Japanese knives to talk about execution. But this right here is Japanese level execution. Just like in cars, Japanese cars are really the best built cars in the world. And very reliable, very close tolerances in the engines and stuff like that, generally speaking. But it's kind of like that. The execution is as flawless as the naked eye can perceive.
Yeah.
Right. So
you can feel it when you open it.
Yeah. Ton of respect for Hinderer. Now I understand.
Yeah.
And most people won't understand until they pick one up.
Yeah.
And they actually use it.
Which, I would say, guys, if you really want to go handle one, go to a knife showroom and handle one.
Yeah.
If
you can find one, now I get it. When you see that come up and you've wondered if you're in that grill world and you haven't picked up a Hinderer, you're doing yourself a disservice. The only thing is like it may get more pocket time than you wanted it to. because you may,
Isn't it funny how that happens with certain knives?
you're like, oh gosh, I want to carry my Medford, but oh, this is so nice. Right?
Well, now you
Um,
understand why I carried that copper ZT so much.
yes.
Or copper anodized ZT.
Yeah, it's titanium, but looks like copper.
But yeah, so guys, hope you enjoyed
I hope you
the
did.
Hinderer Eklipse
And
review.
you will enjoy a Hinderer.
Yeah,
I'd love to get my hands on XM18.
It's pretty sweet.
I would look at look at that the ratio, handle and blade, nailed it, 85%. It's right there. Literally, the tip is not even half an inch from. I mean, that's so important to not have a big handle on a tiny blade.
And I hear that Mr. Hinderer is a super swell guy.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That which just makes you appreciate a knife company all the more. That's why we like Medford so much. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment down below, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and stay sharp.
Yeah, stay sharp.
See you on the next one.
Yep.